So it is approximately 10 p.m. Friday night. There's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. The life of myself and my girlfriend. A lot of things we are going to have to handle in a very short period of time. So I haven't had a lot of time to myself. Just little snippets here and there. Neither has Bear, my girlfriend, but I was told and asked that once I got my new catfishing line in, to please do a video on it and post to Fishbrain and Facebook if possible. So I did one on my super heavy catfish rod that it's actually a musky rod. It's essentially a 9-foot extra heavy surf rod for saltwater that's cut down to 7-foot overall. It's got 2.5, I think 3-foot handle. It's essentially a 5-foot catfish rod that has like almost no bend, which it will have if it has 120-pound or more size blue or flathead in the 80 to 100-pound range even. Even a 30 to 50-pound flathead would probably get some bend out of it, but it's really heavy. I got a Fish CM brand, which is Korean, and it's got a 40-pound max drag. It's a dual drag. I did a video on that one. The handle on it's freaking immense. But the reason that I'm doing the video now is because I finally got the line that I'm putting on that reel. Now, I have to preface that by saying that I got this reel on a whim. It was having a lot of really good reviews on Amazon by people that have bought it. I should have gotten the BT30 size. I got the BT20. Kind of my mistake. I should have gotten a heavier one. But it has a great 5:1 ratio, which is perfect for catfish. Just enough line to pull them up. Enough gear to get the line in. But not too much that you overplay the fish, which is important. You don't want to overplay a catfish ever. So, I have this right here. High Seas Quattro Low Vis Camo line. This is 250 yards of 50-pound. The Quattro is a fluorocarbon based line. This is truly rope. It's super stupid thick. You can see that it's got the multicolor to it to make it camouflage in the water. I took the plastic shroud off. This is the first time I'm actually taking the rubber band off to even roll this at all. And you can just see that it has this, and it changes and it changes, and it has like these hues to it, greens, blues, reds, and it changes from every angle that you look at it. Actually, it's really an intense line. But the reason that I got the High Seas is I kept hearing these really great reviews from bass fishermen of all things, saying we're using this for heavy flipping, we're using their mono for this, we're using their straight fluorocarbon for this. And the High Seas brand has been primarily saltwater. And, you know, I've been kind of using a lot of Cast King products, which is made in China. I have one of their 2000 size ultralights that I did a review on some time ago that's really performed flawlessly. It's kind of a noisy reel, but the drag is just awesome on it. It's like a 22-pound drag on an ultralight. It's retardedly stupendous. So this Quattro line, this is supposed to pretty much disappear in water. It's supposed to look really funky on the reel. Now, I'm convinced that being fluorocarbon, even though it's 50-pound, I should be able to fit at least 60 to 80 yards on my reel. I won't know that until I put it on. It's thick enough that I'm going to have to put a simple cinch in it to get it on the reel correctly. Some lines lend themselves to being trialing knotted and not having enough of a knot imprint at the bottom of a rail to be impeding. But this stuff is truly, even for fluorocarbon, it's still rope. It's really very non-flexible. It's going to be interesting to cast this. Now, even as heavy as the line is, I'm going to be using probably 4 to 8 ounce free slide weights. Free slide meaning that they're on a sinker slider that's actually a metal or plastic tube with a snap swivel on it that you put the weight onto. And so what it does essentially is you have almost like a Carolina rig where you have a bump stop and a swivel and a length of leader line and your hook, and the weight stays back so that the bait fish that you're using, or the cut bait or whatever you're using, has the ability to move around and or sit on the bottom with the line being unrestricted so that the catfish takes it. The reel that I have is a true conventional reel in that you have to have the spool released with the clicker on for it to be in bait mode. It essentially surpasses or bypasses the drag in the gear. So what happens on this one is it's kind of two-stage. When a fish is taking it, you're hearing the click, click, and you hit it on. But when you hit it into gear, that clicker suddenly turns into a real mega clicker if the drag starts getting pulled. So you got to click it up to disengage that clicker. It's a little bit of old and new. Brushed aluminum mixed with impregnated resin, impregnated ABS, but it's super strong. For a 300 size saltwater reel, I don't think there's not going to be much that I'm not going to be able to handle with it. So I'm going to give it a chance with this Quattro line. I have to give it a chance because it was only $87. I had the money at the time to do it. I had to pull the trigger on it, so to speak. It is a very futuristic looking round reel. It does not look conventional at all, except for the fact that it has the controls that it does. So it's going to be interesting using it. It's got an ovoid handle. It's not one of those round ones. And I believe that, excuse me, it's quite late and I'm very tired. I did a lot of work today. So I believe that I probably won't change the handle because it's comfortable in the hand. It actually kind of fits into the palm and you can crank like this real close to the reel. So, you know, the ball you have to grab with your hand differently than more of a comfortable. It's almost like you're grabbing a handle on a 1911, believe it or not, because of how much grip you get on it. But it's made to crank. It has a two-sided drag on it, and it's just this beast of a reel for its size. But this I was randomly looking on eBay, and I started seeing these reviews on High Seas because of the cost. And I'm going, well, this stuff is like really low cost. Like, why is it so cheap? Well, they mass produce it. So it's not a low volume, super QA'd, quality controlled line. It's a mass produced, decently quality controlled line. But it is exceptionally strong. So I have no issues running it. I mean, this 250 yards of camoed fluorocarbon 50-pound line. This was $12.20 with tax on eBay out the door. I mean, how can you be mad at that, like, in any way, shape, or form? And it's just really, I mean, look at all the colors to it. And it's a camo pattern. It truly disappears in the water. It has these different levels of color all the way through it. And they say that the strength to, excuse me, oh man, it says that the strength to its diameter is higher than standard, even for fluorocarbons. Now, of course, I know if you get like a Cigar or, you know, one of the other high-end brands of, you know, low production, high-end line, the diameter of the fluorocarbon is going to go down, but a lot of them don't go up to 50 pounds. And the intention of this reel that I have and this rod that I have and this line is to have a 100-pound plus fish be able to be brought in. Now, I will back that statement by saying that the 235 some odd pound blue catfish that was one of the largest caught on a Catfish Special Abu Garcia reel in the 7,000 size was only 25-pound line, but they had like 600 yards of line at that size on there. But they still got a 235 some odd pound blue catfish in. It may have taken an hour, but they did it. This is twice that. It has a very low stretch. It has a low floatability rating so that it goes down very quickly. So if I'm taking something that weighs, you know, the weight of is almost the same as the bait fish that I'm throwing down, well, then it's, you know, party on, cat, come and get it. And the rod that I have, well, let's just say that it's rated for up to like 3 pounds of bait. So casting is not going to be an issue. The issue in casting is going to be the actuation on the reel for the weight of the bait. That's the determining factor, because this conventional reel from Fish CM, this BT20 I have, does not have magnetic brakes. It is only the physical brake that binds down on the bearing that slows the spool down. It is truly like the old ocean reels that people use in surf and on boats. And it's an important distinction to make, because every other round reel I have has magnets. Even my Lew's SC600, which is a bigger reel for a 300, by the way, than this one, has magnetic brakes. And it casts like a bullet. So I don't even want to think about how far this line with 4 to 6 to 8 ounces of weight and a bait fish on the end is going to go out. It will probably be insane how it happens. So it ought to be interesting. It's a really, I don't know, it's a bit intimidating to look at, and I don't mean it in a scary way. It's just, it really is. You know what it reminds me of? The texture of this line reminds me of that thin gauge electrical wire that some people will solder in between boards on computers to wire in new things. That's how thick this is. It feels like that type of light gauge wire. It's just thick as fuck. But I mean, come on, you know, 250 yards of 50-pound fluorocarbon for not even $13, people. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, it's a conventional reel, so it's going to roll off just like it's on this. And I'm going to try to put as much as I can on. I'm going to see how much of this I can take off. There's 250 yards on here, so we'll see. But it's funny because it says 229 meters, i.e. 250 yards. So if I get, I don't know, 60 to 80 yards, that's 3 times that amount in feet. That's a lot. That's a lot of line. Now, granted, I'm going to be fishing in rivers with my friend Jim and my other friend Paul when he gets his catfish rig together, and it'll probably be early to mid next year that we're really get heavy into taking a couple trips to do this. But you know, there's some 40-50 pound carp and catfish in Tempe Town Lake. You know, you go down Yuma way, the Colorado River there has big flathead. So you know, it's anybody's game, and this is just one of those things. They do it by weight. Quarter-pound spool of this size line is supposed to be right at 250 yards. So it works for me. And recently, part of what I do for work now, I transferred to another department where I'm at. And what I do is, it's all predicated by weight of the product. The amount of something going into a package is directly related to what it's weighed out at when you begin with however many pieces go into a container. So I understand the why they do the weight, because if they're doing it on machines one after the other, cut the line out, they're getting that percentage. It might be plus or minus a certain percentage. So it might have 2 or 3 yards extra or 2 or 3 yards less, but it'll be right in that pocket of that length. And that's a consistency that bulk spools have. They had an option to have a 1,850 foot of this for, I think it was like $40. I could have done that, but I got other things to pay for, and I'm sorry, but not even $13, $12.20 for 250 yards. It's going to last me a while. I've got a ton of other line sitting in drawers that I have to pack when I move. So it's not in my interest at this time to have more than I really need. When I use it the first time, when I use the reel and the rod in this line the first time, I'm going to give a review on how all of it ties together and works. Hell, I might even just put one of my smaller 7/0 circle hooks on and just take it out for the hell of it and see how it works in the local ponds. I don't know. It just depends on, you know, what kind of time I have. I just don't have time right now. The fact that I have time right now is amazing to me, really, because I'm really jam-packed with things to do right now. And it's going to be even worse soon because there's a lot more coming to do before we move out of this apartment. It's ridiculous what we have to do, but we have to make it work. So I may not have a review on this and that rod and reel for a while, so bear with me. I'm going to be working on it. I just don't know when it's going to be able to happen. But as far as this line, the reviews are fantastic on this line. It's gotten rave reviews for the strength and issues for its diameter on all the different break strengths. My Fish CMBT 20 has kick-ass reviews on Amazon. The Tackle Industries 7-foot rod I have has 5-point reviews all the way across the board. So it really should be a good setup. My friend Jim has a Kalex, I think a 51 on an Ugly Stick extra heavy 7-foot. I think it's on par with my slightly lighter catfish setup. So we should really be doing good when we get out there. I don't see there being problems getting them in. You know, besides longevity of an older person trying to hump in a catfish, obviously, because I have joint issues and this is going to be a challenge. But when it does, I really hope that it is like that, because that's the kind of fish I want to catch. But we'll see what happens, and I'll give reports on all three of those things: the reel, the rod, and the line. But it might be a while.